Well, the next bit of audio I want to play for you is Tony Khan by himself before Chris Jericho came in, talking about what we talked about earlier, the NBA, the percentages for Game 7, and as Jace put here in the notes, just rambling and getting wide-eyed and more bombastic. So let's play a little bit of this, but it'll get into some of what we said was Tony's strategy and some of his thoughts about the length of the card and how the card went.
Great night, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll get to catch you after Chris comes in. We can catch up at length too. It's been a real special night. Just before Chris comes in, some notes I'll drop that are interesting. So this is the record for Double or Nothing. All of our pay-per-views continue the streak. All of the pay-per-view franchises have been up year over year. Every All Out's been higher than the year before. Every Full Gear's been higher than the year before. Every Revolution's
lots of things are higher than they were last year.
I can safely predict this is all higher than Nothing. And in part due to all of you, and I'll just say that again at the end, but I really appreciate all being here and disseminating and helping build interest among the fans for this. If you don't know, I talked about it with other media during the week. Is Chris coming in? By the way, I'm ready. I'm Chris. Whenever you're ready. Okay. And I'll drop the stat again maybe later, but it looked increasingly likely that there might be a Game 7 this weekend. And when we planned, had I gone Saturday, it was actually more likely that the Warriors would have played, because the Warriors would have been Game 6, and a Game 6 is far more likely than a Game 7. And actually, there was only a 28.1% chance of a Game 7. So, but as the series was going on, 28.1% chance. So about 72% of the time, you're not going to get it. So I was playing the odds when I booked this. It looked like the Game 7 was less likely, and we've always done better on pay-per-view on Sundays, especially with a holiday week and Memorial Day. So with a 28% chance, I thought we had a pretty good chance. As the series went on, I was like, oh, gosh. So I came up with a plan that I think worked really well, and the person in here is a big part of it, because the last 3 matches were the hottest 3 matches of the night, arguably, at the end of a show, that because I pushed the buy-in to a later start. And tried to make sure we had really special stuff with Anarchy in the Arena, and of course the World Tag Title and then the World Championship matches at the end of the night. We saw record buys, and we did get late buys, which was part of the strategy, because I thought people would know the game's over, and there's fans gathered at home, friends gathered, families gathered, watching sports. Hey, what the heck? These matches are on, and then Anarchy in the Arena gets going. People hear it's nuts. Tell your friends. Tell your World Tag Title.
Is that a thing? Do people get together as a family to watch the NBA Finals?
How many people get together with their friends? You may have their friends come over. I've done that.
He's talking about the family. You got all your kids. You got the dog there. Hey, NBA.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
It's just like The Wizard of Oz's annual airing on television. Go ahead, play me more of. People on Twitter are calling Tony Khan either Tony Yayo, the cocaine cowboy, or Herb Abrams Jr.
I don't think it was Coke, but let's go back to this.
If you missed a lot of the favorite, whenever Chris comes in, I'm ready to, I can answer this later. But, a lot of my favorite pay-per-views are like 13, 14, and they're great to rewatch. Like, how many times have I watched WrestleMania 17, which is like 13 matches? How many times? Now, they're a little bit shorter. Now, some of the 12, 13, like 7:45, which I think Chris could. But anyway, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I think people are going to watch it over and over again. It was a big success for us commercially, and I think the fans at the end proved it was the right move, holding stuff out, holding hot stuff, and commercially a success. And I heard a lot of you liked the matches a lot, and the stuff at the end got the response we were hoping for, and I think the whole show was great. And do you guys have Chris? Oh, great. And it's very fitting. We had the champs, and then Le Champion, the first champion, coming back to where we did this for the first time. It's a different building, but it's cool to be back here. And after Chris is here, I'll stay with you guys until you get all your stuff answered and talk to you. But it's really a very special, crazy day. And like I said, I put stuff in later in the week knowing that as the series went on, it was like, okay, this is going to happen. I'm going to stack the card up. And I felt like starting later. It was about Revolution. It was probably similar bell-to-bell time, because the Revolution, the buy-in started near the top of the hour, and we went with that. Layla and Statlander had a very good match. And then later, the House of Black had a good match. I mean, the Hook matches were, it would have been like if we kept the Hook match and pushed those other matches into the pay-per-view with the West Coast start. So it was actually probably a very similar bell-to-bell time.
Oh, my God. Started.
But I think it got more into the pay-per-view window. And I've talked to Dana and Hunter and the people at UFC. I mean, I think Dana runs the best business in sports pay-per-view, probably history, and certainly the most consistent winner. And they put on long pay-per-views. I mean, Punk and Hangman went into the ring far earlier than any UFC main event or big boxing main event in this town. And I was here not here. I was in the MGM Grand 10 years ago when Pacquiao and Bradley fought. And they smartly held back because, and think about it. Look, like, it's no secret to the sponsor of the show.
Does anybody have Chris?
And we advertised that people had action, and I think they saw the most of any of the matches we promoted through them. And
he doesn't blink
too, to have like people get out of the Heat Celtics game and then be able to go back because the title sponsored the company that's like the biggest sponsor we have right now. And they happen to work with UFC and other big companies. With what they've done, I think it made sense to get out of the Heat Celtics game for them. And speaking of a guy that ended this with the hottest last 3 matches I think we've ever done on any pay-per-view and was a huge part of why this was a huge night and one of the best things we've ever done. He's been big from the beginning.
Let me pause it right there. He gets up to hug Chris Jericho.
Does he ever admit when anything is the shits? Or has he got people believing that everything they do is good? Everything I hear, it's the greatest thing we've ever done. Even the shit that obviously sucked pond water.
I think the only time he's admitted anything is the shits is when Big Swole clapped back at him and then he said, listen to this.
Remember, they even had a fucking excuse for when the ring didn't blow up. I was the heel that did it, or what
That's right, I forgot about that, yeah. He's passionate. He's very passionate about this.
Yeah, he's passionate and he's a nervous wreck, and somebody needs to put him in a rubber room at the Puzzle Factory before he hurts himself in some fashion.